America needs a tidal wave of the old-time religion. I have sinned against you. How dare you! We have no need to doubt God. The harlot Babylon is preparing the nations to receive the Antichrist. I didn't even build that house with money from the church. I built it with money from my book. I don't make this stuff up. Repenting of your sin, it is a moral issue. They got together and swore a pact to the devil. I just enjoyed seeing people worship, praising God.
Hey everybody, and welcome to
Believe It
or Not,
the show where we believe it,
or maybe we don't.
I'm gonna say not.
Nope, not at all.
Well, maybe
Never.
You know, things might change one day.
That's true.
But not today.
Yeah. Well, maybe our guest will convert us.
That's right.
Guest. Hi, I'm Trevor Poelman.
Hi, I'm Damien Doepping.
I'm Cody Crain.
What the fuck?
What? There's a third.
What show am I on?
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Right? That was what happened at the start?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. We're Believe It or Not. I got the host of one of the hosts of Spooked is here.
Well, you got both of them.
What? So Damien has
Did we,
another podcast
Spooked?
called Spooked, and guess who's here is his co-host for that program,
Cody Crain.
Cody Crain.
The co-host with the mo-host.
Yeah, it's a spooky. We're doing a spooky crossover, Halloween crossover episodes. Cody, what do you know about religion?
What do I know about religion? That's an interesting question, Trevor. Because I was watching a religious video before this. 3.5 minutes breaking down Jesus' journey.
Yeah, he got it wrong in the first 30 seconds. He wasn't paying attention.
But as far as my religious experiences go, I didn't know a lot about it. I didn't go to church ever. I've been in a church once for a wedding. Damien took me into church once. I got freaked
I had to
out.
get him baptized.
Baptized me. Said it's important.
Yeah.
He just took off all my clothes and threw me in a little pond. But yeah, I mean, like the idea of like church and everything gives me a lot of anxiety. It feels very like cult-like, and I remember going into that one cathedral. Damien and I walked into it, and it felt like my throat was like closing. Like I was just having a hard time with it. So everything I know about church is what I've seen in like movies or television.
Okay. What about, so you're not
Or heard from
religious, but you I think you have a different point of view, and we discussed this on Spooked as well, than me and Damien, where you have more like of a supernatural worldview kind of thing.
Yeah, so like I'm a ghost believer. I've seen ghosts, I've experienced ghosts. Damien's shaking his head at me right now. Damien hates this thing, but
I hear this. I've heard this story so many times over the last 6 years.
You don't know what story I'm gonna tell.
Oh, it's gonna be one of the two that you have.
I got more than that. But and Trevor, you know this too because we're longtime friends and everything. But yeah, I'm a big ghost believer because I mean, for me, it was experiencing it. Like other people's stories don't make me go like, oh, now I believe in ghosts. But the moment that it happened to me, I believed in it. But I don't associate that with religion. But I guess in a way, it's kind of like spirituality.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So me and Damien, we don't believe in like pretty much anything supernatural.
I don't believe in anything.
Yeah, I don't believe in anything.
I don't believe in myself.
But I think this is a good opportunity for our Halloween episode to get a spooky.
Yeah, because we got a real Halloweeny right
We
here.
got an All Hallows Eve, and you're an extra spooky guy because you're not only on the Spooked podcast.
Yeah.
You're also on the CBS hit show Ghosts.
Were you on Paranormal 911 too?
Yeah. I've only played dead guys or people that are dying. I have a brand, Paranormal 911, See No Evil, Ghosts, Lock and Key on Netflix. Little spoily if you haven't watched the second episode yet.
How's it been being on Ghosts and Lock and Key? How's that experience been?
it's a really cool experience. Just like, I mean, Lock and Key was kind of like my, I guess like my biggest kind of role to date at that point. Like, I shot that over a year ago, and it was one of those experiences where there's so much like CGI, like I'm graphically dying in this show.
Okay.
It's like every bone breaks in my body, my rib cage explodes out. So I had this whole like days and days of just CGI stuff where they're doing like the full body camera around me, studying my movements and everything like that. And it was the same person that did Gal Gadot's CGI for Wonder Woman.
Oh, cool.
Did me for this one, which is really cool. Like it was just such a unique experience, I think, to be a part of. And then as far as Ghosts goes, like getting like a reoccurring role on this like American television show, which is kind of like it's pretty unheard of, really, for Canada. Like you don't get a lot of opportunities like that to even audition for them, let alone to be a part of them. And like at the same time, I'm on this lot and we're doing Ghosts, which is cool in its own right. But then on the other side of us, they're doing the new Transformers movie. And then on the other side, they're doing like the new Ari Aster movie starring like Joaquin Phoenix. So
Nice.
there's just like, it's like art film, American television show, blockbuster movie.
Yeah. Do you get to
wild.
meet Optimus Prime?
Yeah, we shook hands. They actually, if you watch the new Transformers movie, when it comes out, you'll see me on his back at one point.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm just riding around. And they were like, hey, wait, is that a guy on set? That's our only take. We can't use another one.
Hanging around the lot, did you get to meet Optimus Prime as well?
Yeah, they invited me to family dinner.
What kind of truck was she?
She was also a transport truck.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but different color. It wasn't red and blue.
What color was she?
Just the regular like silver that you
Oh,
see.
she was sleek and silver.
Yeah, sleek and silver.
Okay.
But like mud running up everywhere.
Mud running up.
Yeah.
So you don't got the mud flaps.
No. No mud flaps. Just mud sprayed everywhere all over.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So are you saying that mud flaps are a Transformer's genitalia then? And that's where it goes when they turn into trucks?
Is that what you're saying?
I think that's what you're saying.
I don't want to get into the biology of the Transformers movie. I know that I'll get sued immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to speak for the creators.
That's true. I'm
Yeah.
just worried that we're going to get, like Shia LaBeouf or someone calling in and saying, that's not what it is.
It's true.
He'll do it.
Or Megan Fox.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, if she wants to call in, that's okay.
That's true. Yeah. So I guess this next question is for both of you, and then I'll answer it. What was Halloween like for you as a kid?
Well, you're the guest. You go ahead.
You go first, Cody. You're the
Go
guest.
first.
Halloween was weird. I was never a big Halloween guy, even though, I mean, that kind of is the opposite of what I take part in of, like, all year spookiness now. But, like, yeah, I wasn't a big Halloween guy. My parents, especially trick-or-treating, my parents had to force me to, like, go and get dressed up. And, like, I remember... I've broken my mom's heart with Halloween so many times where, like...
Broken her heart.
Yeah, because she loves Halloween. Like, she's a huge Halloween fan.
Okay, so you hate your mom, so you refuse to participate.
So, like, trick-or-treating, she wanted to, like, live through me by doing it. But
Okay.
I didn't like walking around and getting candy, and I didn't eat the candy. I'm not a big candy guy. Wasn't as a kid either. So, like, she liked it that she could have that candy or whatever, because I'm not going to want it. But then also, I broke her heart with, like, she would make these detailed, and, like, if you see pictures now, like, looking back on it and everything, like, these detailed costumes for me of, like, Ash from Pokemon, or like, she made, like, float costumes, too, for, like, the Christmas parade, where she'd make all the Pokemon characters for, like, a bunch of kids to be on the float and everything.
Sounds like she just loves Pokemon.
Or Teletubbies. She made all the Teletubbies, but she would make all of these detailed costumes of, like, things that I like too, and thought, like, okay, like, this would be good because she was in charge of one of the floats, and she would always make these, like, pop culture themed things and make these detailed costumes. And then one day she was like, she made me this costume. I forget what it was at the time, but I said to her, Mom, can I not just have a store-bought costume like the other kids?
Oh no.
What an asshole kid I was. Like,
Yeah.
and they're so much better than a store-bought costume too. They're so good.
Sometimes you just want to have one of those big muscly Spider-Man suits.
That's all I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my first one was The Undertaker, the wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it
so-
one of the muscle suits or?
It was a muscle suit and just a shitty plastic mask that like
Yep.
cracks when you put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that one thin white piece of elastic
Yeah.
stapled to the sides.
Now I'm a little older than you guys, but when I was a kid, we had the shitty plastic masks of like the Disney character or whatever, and then they would also have their picture, a picture of them standing on the chest.
Yeah, I remember those. What a weird trend that was. So like, oh, who are you? Look at my chest. That's who I'm supposed to be.
And Damien?
I mean, I always liked Halloween. It wasn't like a crazy giant affair, but like growing up, we would always. Usually, my mom and dad would take us, and we'd get dressed up and walk around the neighborhood and get candy. And then, yeah, I mean, I've always liked Halloween, but it's also not been like it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I'll make a cool costume and all that. But I find every year I'm just like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
So I just don't do any. I don't do anything for it really. But I like Halloween. It's fine. It's whatever. It doesn't offend me like Cody. I like candy, so that's
I
fine.
thought you were saying I offended.
I love my mom too, so I wouldn't break her heart.
Yeah.
Not over this anyway.
I did like it's not Halloween, but I really begged to be on our church hockey team when I was a kid. Just like, please. So my parents, they bought all the equipment and paid for like the membership in the team or whatever. And then I put it all on and I just started crying and I said, I don't want to be on this.
Well, I guess were they still able to return the stuff though? Because you'd only worn it for like 3 seconds?
Well, it was all used stuff too. So I'm sure
okay.
they just like.
I had one of those like just plastic masks. I remember one of my early costumes was biker mice from Mars.
Right.
You remember that show?
Yeah, I didn't know they made costumes for it.
Yeah, I had one.
That's so great. Yeah, my parents went back and forth every single year about whether or not Halloween was evil and we should celebrate it. Sometimes, like last minute, all season they'd be like, Halloween's evil, it's from the devil, and then they would get nostalgic. And like the day of, they'd be like, okay, you can trick or treat. So we didn't have a costume, so we just had to like go into like our closets and make something up. Like, oh, I'm going to put this dress on and say I'm a pirate.
Well, some people are like, well, that's the creativity of Halloween. That's what, you're using your imagination. But Cody and I, we want to get our store-bought costumes, goddammit.
Yeah.
But I know there's like, I had friends that, and like my babysitter at the time too, and like her daughter was one of my best friends. But they were Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah.
So, like, I know that they were, like, really against, like, Halloween and stuff.
And they don't celebrate any holidays at all or birthdays.
No, and I try to knock on their door.
How do they know how old they are?
That's a good point. Oh, they cut their arm off and count the rings.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Every year?
Every year,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Doctors hate them.
This
sew
one
your
simple
arm.
trick.
Yeah, and I think my sister every once in a while is Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think
Every once in a while.
Yeah, it's weird. Like my one sister, I feel like she switches like religions, or like sometimes she's not religious, and then I'll hear that she's like Christian. She's going to church, and then I'm pretty sure for a while she was Jehovah's Witness too.
That's great because that's like a ride or die religion. Like you're all in with that one. Like
she's like in every once in a while.
Yeah, that's great.
Ride or
That's
die,
so fun.
baby.
Yeah. Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, that her mom is. We have different moms.
Right. Yeah.
So I believe her mom is or was.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that she was in and out because of that, maybe.
Right.
But the whole religion thing, I mean, it strictly has to be from her mom and that side of the family because, like, my family never gone to church. I don't know anyone in my family that goes.
Yeah.
My parents don't. My grandparents didn't. My grandmother, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I've been to like church dinners or whatever,
Right,
where
yeah.
there's like a buffet in the basement. Because my grandmother wouldn't go to church, but would always go to these church dinners.
Well, they are pretty good food. Like, and you get the deviled eggs or the angeled eggs.
And it's cheap or free. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's either cheap or free or with donation or something.
Yeah, or you bring your own dish and then everybody.
I'm
like
starting.
potluck.
Yeah, I'm starting to think my grandmother just liked a deal.
She just liked a good lunch.
Yeah.
That's where you get it from.
Yeah. I remember getting hot beef sandwiches.
Hot beef.
Oh, good old hot beef. But so Halloween, they talk about the war on Christmas. Mm-hmm. Now we've talked about that, but there's the Christians really have a war on Halloween, especially the evangelicals. A lot of evangelicals don't like it.
See, that's weird to me because I thought Christians like charity, right? Mm-hmm. And what is Halloween but getting free candy?
Yeah, that's true.
And what is that? Charity.
I thought you were going to say it was Halloween was brought to us by UNICEF.
Yeah, it was brought to us by UNICEF, so you can collect those pennies.
So let's talk about a little bit about the history of Halloween.
Halloween.
And then we'll talk about the war on Halloween.
James Hollow and Doug Ween in 1982 started a foundation.
Originally called Hollow's Corp.
Yeah. Costume extravaganza. Originally in April.
You guys ever go to that Spirit Halloween?
Yeah, we should go to one after this.
Oh, yeah.
I love one of my favorite memes is like the running one of just like Spirit Halloween taking over empty places.
Yeah.
And they'll have it like when the White House cleared out, they put like the Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, because
over
Trump Tower's up for sale in DC,
yeah.
so
it was so good.
but yeah, so Halloween started by the Irish, the Celtics, in the Celts in the old 2,000 years ago, or like before the Lord.
Could be my family.
Yeah, it could be your family. And
So you hate your family and your heritage then? Because you hate Halloween?
that's true.
Well, I'm over it now.
Okay.
But it was actually it wasn't called Halloween. It was called a Samhain, spelled Samhain, but it's not pronounced Samhain. It's pronounced Samhain. So the holiday was basically like November 1st was their New Year, so October 31st was like the day that they thought the old devils would come back as one last romp.
Right.
And it was also basically like an end of summer, fall kind of festival of
Fall
like
fest.
winter's gonna start. We're gonna it's gonna be pretty bad. So
Almost created as the original like Purge. They thought the devils would come for one night.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it'd be good for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then so the Druids, they'd all and the Celtic priests, they would all get together and put a big bonfire up, and they'd all dance around this bonfire, and it was a big old festival, and all that stuff. And then 43 AD, though, Roman Empire was like, oh, we like that, so they took it.
Yeah, that's one thing that the Roman Empire was good at, was looking at things and just taking it.
Yeah, that's true.
That and roads.
Yeah.
They loved roads. Oh, and orgies.
Yeah.
Roads, orgies, taking things.
Mm-hmm. And it was also a big day to like honor the dead, so honor your dead ancestors, things like that. And then in 609 AD, Pope Boniface, that's a nice name, the fourth, was like, oh, we want that. So of course they took that, and it was November 1st or 2nd. It was called All Souls Day.
Okay, so the Pope wanted it.
Yeah.
That was a first name, Boniface? Is that where they go with Pope? They go with
No, their first name is Pope, and then Boniface is there.
No, but did they use just the last name, or they?
Yeah, well, no, they pick a name.
They pick
when
a
you
name.
become Pope, you just pick a name, and it's just a one name. It's like Beyonce. So
Yeah.
usually they'll name themselves after a saint or.
What about John Paul
or
the Second? That's more than one name.
That's true.
You said the fourth, so 4 people chose Boniface.
Bonoface,
Well, it is Irish.
and the Edge.
With John Paul too, John Paul the First was like the Pope before him, who didn't last very long.
Oh, and he's just like, listen, I got to give this guy a break.
Yeah, I always thought
he
he'd be
never
like,
died.
He never died. And then, so by the 9th century, it was like a big thing. Everybody's celebrating All Souls Day, and then the night before is when all the evil try to come back and the dead try to come back, and so.
Well, I know that from isn't that the whole plot of The Crow?
That's true.
About Devil's
I
Night.
actually haven't seen The Crow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
maybe that's what we'll go.
some
We'll go to
Halloween
Spirit
homework.
Halloween.
We'll go to Spirit Halloween.
We'll
get some
watch The
spooky
Crow.
costumes and watch The Crow.
In the 19th century, it wasn't really like celebrated in the Americas until more and more like Irish settlers came. So your people again.
Was that more just because of how all the Puritans and they didn't want to do that
Yeah,
stuff?
well, 'cause
I
they-
feel like most of the people who originally left Europe were the ones who didn't want to celebrate Halloween.
Yeah. And they didn't celebrate Christmas. A lot of the Puritans too.
bunch
So
of boring
and pretty much any
dipshits.
holidays was out. Yeah.
And we wonder why why we're so messed up.
This is all making sense because the Irish are one to create a party every night out of anything. So, and this was all back in the day too. They still did it. They wanted to create a party out of just about anything.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And
Stereotyping the Irish now, huh?
I'm allowed.
and that's also where trick-or-treating started, was in America. And but it goes back to an old tradition of like the poor going door to door on Halloween asking for food and beer.
Didn't they also originally carve turnips, not pumpkins?
Yes.
Because
that's
they didn't
true.
have pumpkins.
Yeah. And that's too, you put the candle in there and that's supposed to ward off evil spirits and stuff.
Yeah.
And have you
I
seen
thought it was supposed to let people know that you were giving out candy.
That's true. But like a carved gourd is so much creepier looking too. So maybe we should go back to that. I don't know.
That's true. I carved a watermelon once.
For Halloween?
Yeah.
Why the hell would you do that?
Because we didn't get a pumpkin and it was like Halloween, so we went to the store to get one and they didn't have any, so we got a watermelon.
That's like the other day
When the light's off, you can't tell the difference.
for Thanksgiving. I went to get turkey breasts and they didn't have any, so I made chicken breasts.
There you go, same thing. You know, it's a nice substitute, and it didn't a pinch, and you can eat the insides of a watermelon better than you can.
It's got to
the
be
insides of-
harder to scoop though,
Not really.
to get down in there.
Nah, it's fine.
It's fine.
You just get a big metal spoon and you just go at it.
I don't support this one bit.
All right. Well, you don't like watermelon?
If you're in a pinch and
don't
you
like
can't get a
Halloween?
pumpkin,
Yeah.
yeah.
just don't bother then.
No, it's called having fun and enjoying the holiday spirit.
Wow, are we going to carve a pumpkin after this?
Yeah, we'll go to Spirit Halloween. We'll get a spooky costume. We'll watch The Crow, and we'll carve a pumpkin.
This is a nice night.
Around this time, young ladies believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husbands by doing tricks with yams, apples, or and mirrors.
Is this
No
like-
need, ladies. I'm already single.
Is this like those weird shows that you see in the back alleys of,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
with yams, apples, and what?
And mirrors. So I don't know how they did it, but there was a trick, and that's where the trick came. No, that can't be.
Well, here's the trick. You put the mirror up, you put a yam in front of the mirror, but you angle it in a way where it points at the apple, so people are like looking in the mirror and they're like, oh my god, that yam's reflection is an apple.
Maybe they were doing a Pepper's ghost of the apple, so it looked like the apple was floating.
Oh.
Yeah, back then they got tricked by all kinds of simple shit.
That's true, like religion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was still kind of tied to religion and still kind of tied to the church in the 1900s. And then by like the 20th century, it was pretty much a secular holiday. And
The
it was,
commercialization of it?
And like by the 1920s and 30s, it was more like this is just a fun thing we do with kids, and we have parties and we dress up, and
Yeah.
nobody really thought it was evil
Until
Razor blades.
1960s.
which I'm pretty sure is just a myth. Those things don't happen.
Yeah,
Same with like poisoning candy. It's very, 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 very,
Yeah,
very, very rare.
Actually, with the poisoning, one of the big influences on that was, do you remember, have you heard about in 1982, somebody went around poisoning Tylenol bottles?
Yeah, that's why they have the seals on them
Yeah.
now because of that.
Yeah, and so people were afraid that that would seep into Halloween because it was so close to Halloween that they were afraid that kids would get poisoned, which didn't end up happening. I think anytime like any of the actual like poisonings or anything that happened with Halloween candy, it's like a family member that is poisoning their
was
kid.
probably just going to poison them anyway.
Yeah.
I think there was like an instance of the razor blades.
Yeah, again, we're not saying that it hasn't maybe happened like once
Wasn't
or twice.
wasn't
but
an epidemic.
It's not like the fear is like this happens all the time, so we have to check. It's like no, it's maybe happened once or twice. It's very, very rare.
Well, the good thing that came with it is that you stopped getting loose apples in your bag.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, and if you get a nice apple in season, it's not that bad.
That's true.
Especially around here, we're in apple country.
Okay, Damien, think about this though. Like if you are getting a loose apple put in your Halloween bag.
Yeah.
Say there's the rare instance where there's no razor blade in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or that no one poisoned the outside.
Now I would appreciate the razor blade for a nice clean shave after.
But like you don't know what people are doing with their hands too.
Yeah, you wash your apple. It's like buying an apple at the store. People touch that. You don't know what people are doing with it there. You just bring it home and you wash the apple.
I guess so. I don't want.
How is it any different?
I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with an apple in my. That's not. Give me something wrapped.
I'm just saying though.
Or a Coke can.
Getting an apple from someone at Halloween is basically the same as getting an apple from the store.
Do you ever get Diet Coke cans?
It was always diet caffeine free in the gold cans. Because it was always some old lady and she just had a case of those. I'm like, why am I getting diet caffeine free Coke?
Those always remind me of my like childhood friend. We'd go over to his house and that's the only soda they'd have. And like, that's not a soda.
It's so weird.
But Reverend Jerry Falwell, are you familiar with him?
No.
Okay. We always call him the actual movie villain, Jerry Falwell, because he's true stories about him. He's always the villain, and he's like there's literally multiple movies where he's the bad guy because he's a bad guy. Very homophobic, very awful. He started the moral majority, and he started really the right-wing politics that America has right now. That's all him, and his son is awful too. But he was one of the first ones to start saying Halloween is evil and from the devil and we shouldn't celebrate it and pushing that agenda of like...
Yeah, it's always something to bring people together, right?
Yep.
It's one of those like kind of pointless, innocuous things that they're like, okay, we need to make this into something so we have something for people to rally behind.
Yep.
Oh, well, Halloween brings people together.
Yeah.
But he wants one thing to bring people together. Religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he wants something so people will give him money.
Right. But he could just get
Religion.
candy and sell it.
That's true. He could go trick-or-treating, get the candy, and then resell it at a premium next year.
Exactly.
Stupid.
Sort it, rebox it, boom, good to go.
Good to go. He's also, and then Geraldo. Remember Geraldo?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did an episode about
Isn't it Geraldo?
Geraldo. It starts with a G though.
I don't know. Geraldo?
I think it's
don't know.
Geraldo. You're right.
Revere?
But
Yeah,
he
with
had
his big
a
mustache.
show about demons basically and about the occult, and it was just like a special he did before Halloween, like, oh, let's do a spooky special, and that's kind of what really helped push the satanic panic. I mean, there's a lot that helped push the satanic panic.
A Geraldo special
Yeah.
on the occult pushed the satanic panic.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
and then all this other stuff, like everybody's afraid of rock and roll music and thinks it's of the devil, backmasking, all that stuff. We talked about it in our satanic panic episode. But yeah, and so that kind of helped fuel the thing of like the occults out there. They're trying to get your children, and then Halloween, it's spooky, so they're like, oh, it's Halloween is occultic.
Do you think that maybe I don't believe in God because I listened to occult music growing up and rock and roll? I mean, Cody did too. His favorite band is Slipknot. One of.
It's true.
Well,
But his other favorite band is Creed, so it kind of balances out.
Yeah.
I remember this so much, and I think about it so much, Trevor, you just telling me this story of you when you were in high school in your gym class and them playing Marilyn Manson and then you shutting it off for the entire class, telling them it's the devil's music. and I've never hated a friend so much from one single story.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been friends with you if that was the case. If
That
you
would have
still did that.
pissed me off so much.
Yeah, they were playing Big Shiny Tunes too, and Beautiful People was playing, and I was like, I don't believe in this, and I fast forwarded it and said it's of the devil.
I mean, now if you turned off Marilyn Manson and said it was for other reasons, everyone would probably cheer you. But,
Yeah.
then,
Yeah, that's back when we liked it.
Yeah, exactly. And and then Pat Robertson got his words in there and started talking about on his show about why Halloween's so bad.
this was the era too where like television was so big and important, right? And Geraldo was like one of the big ones.
Yeah,
like, he was.
They only had one channel and everyone watched it.
At one channel, Geraldo was on it 24/7. Right. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Well, I remember, because when I was a kid, we had like 3 channels. Every Sunday morning, Jeremy Falwell's on there. Yeah, you got your Geraldo.
Geraldo.
So I reached out to our listeners as well.
Oh.
And I asked what they weren't allowed to do in Halloween if they grew up religious.
Yeah, I saw some of those on the old internets.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about it right now, though?
Yeah, let's talk about it now. A lot of people mention trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat?
So that's when you go to the church parking lot. Everybody sets up their car with the decorations, and then the kids go around the church parking lot getting candy from people at the church. That way it's safe, and you're not going to strangers' houses, and you're not getting razor blades.
This is so much creepier.
This is worse. Yeah, going up
much
to
worse.
someone's trunk
Yeah.
of their car.
I bet you half of them left their car idling too, so you just get a big dose of exhaust.
Smells like
fumes,
so much gasoline.
and you're just going into someone's greasy trunk for a bunch of shitty candy.
Yeah, this seems like a thing that I would think about to this day, but think it was just like a daydream of like,
If my parents tried to take me to this like trunk parking lot candy fest, I'd be so pissed off. And I wasn't even like big for like Halloween either. I just know it would ruin the whole magic of what the holiday was.
Yeah.
That's got to be a small town thing or something.
Yeah, my family participates in that every year. Like my siblings all, not all of them, not the non-religious ones, but like my siblings who go to church and stuff, they do that every year with their kids.
Still,
yeah.
But part of the fun is walking around the neighborhood,
Yeah.
seeing all the cool decorations, and then bugging strangers.
Yeah. Oh, one of the years too that we were allowed to go trick or treating, I made a ghost costume out of a sheet because it was last minute, and we were in the car because we were driving around. We lived in the country, so we were driving around from house to house because they're so far apart. And I get in the car, close the door, but my costume's hanging out the door. And then my mom starts driving, and my costume gets caught in the tire, and I get yanked down, and I'm in the back seat, and I get yanked down, and I'm just choking, like pounding on the back of the seat. My brother's sitting beside me, doesn't notice anything.
Trevor, quick kick in the seat.
Yeah,
how long
That's
was the
not
sheet?
real.
it was pretty long.
That's not real. That's a cartoon character.
You know?
Yeah, that's like you would watch that and like Charlie Brown and be like, you would die if that happened.
Oh, Trevor, you blockhead.
Oh, this one person said they had a Hallelujah hoedown at their church instead
Hallelujah
of
hoedown?
because a lot of people have harvest festivals, so it's like
Okay.
Bobbing
know,
for apples.
Yeah, bobbing for apples.
Not that much fun.
Yeah, I don't
Now,
get the-
that's a
I don't get the
situation
appeal.
where it's a dirty fucking apple.
And yeah, I don't think anybody's going to do bobbing for apples post-corona.
They shouldn't, unless you're just doing it yourself at home.
I think they've pretty much been done away for a while,
Yeah.
though. People have been talking about it.
Because all the kids drowning, trying to get to the bottom
Is
of
that
it.
what it is?
Yeah.
They used to keep their head underwater too long trying to get that sweet, sweet apple.
I just want one so bad.
I've been wanting so long, like if I'm ever at a place where there's bobbing for apples, which I'm sure is going to happen one more time in my life, my plan is to just like stick my head in the water, be like, oh, this is fun, and stick my head in, just like see how long I can hold my breath, just to like, so people are like, is he drowning in there? I just think that'd be so funny. I don't know.
Sure. I just don't know why people don't just, use their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be funny just to see an adult man without a kid bobbing for apples.
Oh, this is fun.
Who's that guy?
Oh, this person said they had Angel Night where you had to dress up as Bible characters.
Oh, God.
We had actually one year where we had to dress up as Bible characters, and I went as Adam of No, I went as Cain from Cain and Abel. So I just had like fur.
I gotta say, these religious people are the worst cosplay community out there.
It's true.
Everyone would just be wearing like a robe.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Everyone's wearing a robe.
It
Yeah.
sucks.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
Who would be a cool one? The rock creatures from Noah, the Russell Crowe movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's biblical.
You could be a big.
Is that real?
No,
Are
they're
those
based
rock
on
creatures
the Nephilim, which were half human, half god,
You could be Noah's Ark. You could be
or
a big
half human,
boat.
half angel, depending on who you talk to. But
You could be. You could be a whale.
Yeah, I don't know any of that.
True.
I would have to go by like a movie maybe or something like that.
Right.
yeah,
Like I would be director Mel Gibson.
you could go as Pharaoh from.
That's
be
true.
Director Mel Gibson.
He was in the Bible, right?
Wearing a scarf and a beret.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, one person for one of these Bible stories said they went as Mary Magdalene, and her youth pastor was like, "So you're a hooker?"
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
How old were they?
I don't know, kids. Yeah.
I mean,
Like 8-year-old.
I mean, you can't get mad at the kid for dressing up as a Bible character when you only let them dress
It's
up
true.
as Bible
Yeah.
characters.
And then a lot of people said they had people in their neighborhood who would hand out tracts instead of candy. So like, so tracts.
Those little Jesus booklets that you find on buses and stuff.
Oh, what?
I find them
Yeah.
really funny, but I would be so pissed if someone gave that
Oh
to me.
yeah. Or let's say when the dentist gives you a toothbrush instead of candy.
That makes sense.
Those I like getting like toothbrushes and
Free
stuff
toothbrush.
like that. Yeah,
I used to hate. Now it's great. You have an
Yeah.
extra toothbrush in case you need it.
Well, one person said there was no fun allowed because you weren't allowed to celebrate at all on Halloween. So you just weren't allowed to have fun that day.
I went trick or treating like pretty late in life, where I think I was like 21, and my cousin who's short, he's like 5'4", he went trick or treating with me, but he's 3 years older than me. So we bought a kid's dinosaur costume, put him in it, and he shaved to have like a bare face. And then I went dressed as an expendable. I had like this actual like movie, like prop gun movie, like bulletproof vest and everything, like legit thing. And everyone gave us candy because they're like, "Oh, it's so nice you're taking out your son," to me.
That's great.
But the costume was also like really tight and small on my cousin, so he could barely move.
That's fantastic.
So you can still do it no matter how old you are.
Yeah, you just scam some people
Yeah.
out of their candy.
And then let's do a Christian rock lyric.
Can't you see you're not making Christianity better? You're just making rock and roll worse.
It better be a spooky one.
Oh, it's gonna be a spooky. Cody, what's your knowledge of Christian rock?
I only know Creed, and I didn't know they were Christian rock until I think I moved in with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I recently actually made a playlist that you can find on iTunes, on Apple Music, but with all the Christian rock lyric songs. So it's a bad playlist, but there's a Creed song on
And
there.
we should listen
and
to
I
this,
listened
you're
to it
saying?
again. You don't want to, but I listened to it again. I was like, and it's like the most like homophobic, transphobic song.
What?
It's called In
Creed
America.
song?
Yeah.
Imagine it's just like arms. It's called Arms Wide Open. Yeah. Like, what?
Except for gay people. That's
Yeah.
what it's with arms wide open, except for gay people.
I listened to Creed like quite a bit as a kid, just because I listened to whatever would play on wrestling, which is weird because it'd be like Creed, Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, and it would like cycle through those. But
Right.
like, there's the other two are like so anti what the one is.
Wrestling's a weird community for that too, though, because it is very like heavy metal, hard rock, but also a lot of very Christian, very religious side to it as well. So it's like this weird kind of Venn diagram of those two communities coming together.
Well, I mean, especially when I was growing up, wrestling was like a main pop culture thing. Like it
right,
was
yeah.
like
Yeah.
the thing at that time.
Yeah.
So, but like, yeah, I think you've played a lot of Christian rock. You used to listen to it quite a bit.
I still listen
you
to
still
some
do.
Christian rock,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's just what I grew up with, so it's like kind of there. It's just in my nostalgic for me. So
Yeah, that's why Cody's always listening to Smash Mouth.
And I
see
don't.
the lead singer Smash Mouth just quit the band, retired.
Yeah, my life is over.
Yeah.
Well, they were already like shitty
I think
anti-maskers and stuff.
Yeah, I think he was having some issues too, so he needed
With
to step.
getting COVID.
Yeah.
I think it was more than that, but yeah. So I'm sorry, pal.
yeah,
I
sorry,
hate to
but
break that news. to you.
I always wanted the Smash Mouth CD, but my parents never got it for me because it was explicit.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
Didn't you watch like all kinds of like R-rated movies and shit growing up, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
had the 50 Cent album?
Yeah,
but they wouldn't get you Smash Mouth,
Yeah, I was allowed to have every rap album.
but they wouldn't let you get Smash Mouth.
I don't know. It must have been like that specific period of time because there was a moment where my parents accidentally let me watch Scary Movie that they were like, okay, you can watch everything now. You can do everything. You watch everything.
You broke the seal.
I broke the seal, but maybe like before that, they were
okay.
like,
It was pre-scary movie.
and I also got like the Uncle Cracker CD or whatever, and they were like, okay, yeah.
Oh jeez.
Well, this song though is by a band name of Audio Adrenaline. We've done them a couple times before.
What's their deal? A little heavy?
Little heavy. Yeah, they're like 90s alt rock.
Oh, kind of like a Bush.
Yeah, like a terrible, terrible Bush. They were like as much as I loved Christian rock back in the day, I always hated Audio Adrenaline.
Okay.
And they were like one of the top 3. Like if you mentioned 90s Christian rock, they were up there. But man, I hated them.
Well, you like sad, slow, depressing,
Yeah, I like
folk
sad bastard
indie.
music. Yeah,
sad bastard music. That's
Yeah.
If you ever get the chance to go to a party with Trevor,
Don't let him DJ.
it doesn't matter if he's DJing, he will at some point during the night put on just really sad fucking music that bums everyone out, and he'll sit on the couch and just stare off, and everyone will be like, what the fuck happened to this party?
I will say I prefer that stage to Trevor putting on old YouTube videos of himself. stage.
Trevor eating an apple.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we've seen that fucking movie.
I can't imagine now, if you still lived here, how many times you would put on Believe It or Not videos.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
in
just
the middle of the night.
videos of Jagger.
Yeah.
Switching in between. You got more of a Rolodex now.
That's true.
That's
yeah.
true. Video catalog. You got to start putting clips together for
That's true.
Montages for parties.
party playlist number 2.
Best of Trevor.
Anyway, Audio Adrenaline.
Yeah, Audio Adrenaline. This song's called Some Kind of Zombie.
Like some kind of monster.
Yeah.
The Metallica.
This sounds familiar.
It goes as follows. I must have been confused or vain to let this evil in my brain. Lord, did I enjoy the change that you made inside my heart? Oh, here they come, but I'm not afraid. There's no temptation I can't evade. Stand up straight, look through the haze. I begin to walk through the maze. Here they come. They're all up on me, but I'm dead to sin like some kind of zombie.
Is the zombie Jesus?
No, I think he's the zombie.
Oh, but Jesus is a zombie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I says, I hear you speak and obey, some kind of zombie. I walk away from the grave, some kind of zombie. I will never be afraid, some kind of zombie. I gave my life away. I'm obliged and obey. I'm enslaved to what you say. Oh, here they come. I'm not afraid. Blah, blah, blah.
It sounds like, because he's saying this is keeping the sins away by doing this, that he is some kind of zombie and obeys what the church and religion says to him.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because so much of like the iconography is, being a sheep in the flock,
Yeah.
obeying and following and being, Lord's my shepherd and all that.
It
shit,
almost
so.
sounds like he's being negative to the church.
Yeah.
No,
But he's saying it's that's a good thing. Like, I'm gonna beat the grave. I'm gonna live forever, and so
Yeah,
I'm
he'll
not
never
gonna die. But zombies are dead.
Yeah.
Ghost.
Except Rob Zombie. He's
Yeah,
not.
that's true.
He's saying that if he dies, he's already a zombie. He'll be a ghost.
I guess so.
That's spooky.
That's spooky.
I felt uncomfortable by that.
Do you think ghosts would go? Do you think ghosts go to church?
Oh, that's a good. Well, only if they died there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know one ghost that goes to church. the Holy Ghost.
That's true. Hallelujah. I thought my church was haunted when I was a kid.
Yeah. Haunted with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, no, like even as a teenager, I thought we had ghosts in our church, and we weren't supposed to believe in ghosts, but we had this old library because my church's denomination, just a bit of history. My church was like the biggest one and one of the older ones, so they had like the archive of like all the information from the history of this church in this one creepy room, and I swore that this room was haunted.
It turns out it was just mice.
Just mice. But does anybody have any other thoughts on Halloween or being a zombie?
Yeah. I mean, being a zombie would be okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Just shuffle around.
Yeah,
you know.
that's true.
I wouldn't like it.
No?
No, I wouldn't like what I look like.
That's true. And with your knees as bad as they are now, and just imagine how bad they'd be.
I walk like a zombie with my bones cracking all the time now.
That'd be the first thing to go on you, and then you'd have to crawl around.
Yeah, it'd be one of those ones where it's just no legs and body crawling.
Oh, yeah, you're just like... or you're just doing the body crawling, and it's like, no, I just don't want to walk anymore.
I'm just done
Like
walking.
Tired.
I'd get a skateboard, and I can just like wheel around on it like that.
Cody, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me at Cody Crain on Twitter and Instagram, as well as at Spooked Podcast for checking out Spooked, which Damien is also in as well.
What?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We have a lot of great old episodes there with big stars such as Adrienne Barbeau.
Whoa.
From The Fog and Cannonball Run.
Cannibal Run?
Cannibal Run. Cannonball.
Cannonball.
Also, check me out on Ghost, Thursdays at 9 on CBS, and go to Lock and Key, Season 2 on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, no. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful Halloween, and trick and treat.
Bye.
Work, Skyman.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.